For this lesson, we're going to learn how to draw 3D forms in perspective. This is an example of what it will look like when it's finished. For this lesson, you need a piece of paper, a pencil with an eraser, and a ruler. So some very basic supplies. We'll start out this one with a point, just a small point, in the middle of your page. This is called the vanishing point. You may have heard me talk about it before in art class. We're going to draw 5 shapes in a circle around the vanishing point, and I'd like you to do most of these shapes with straight lines. So shapes like a diamond. Try to keep these lines nice and straight. It'll make it a little easier when we need our ruler. Maybe a square. Take your time with your straight lines. How about a triangle? Maybe a star. Star is probably the trickiest one, but you can do it. And I am going to show you how to do one circle. So you can add a circle as well. Okay, I have my 5 shapes. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to look for the points on the corners of my shapes. Just put a little dot on each one of those. This will help us know where to connect our points. Now the star is going to have a lot of these, but we're not going to use all of them. The circle is a little trickier. With the circle, what I want to do is find the edge of the circle. So my edge is going to be kind of about right here, because this is going to be lining up with our vanishing point in the middle. Okay, once you have your little dots, what you're going to do is take your ruler and you're going to connect each dot or each point on your shape to your vanishing point. So make sure your ruler is lined up with your vanishing point and each dot. I'll show you each one. Now the interesting part of this is if I have a dot over here and I try to line that up with my vanishing point, my line is going to go across the front of this shape. If you could imagine this as a solid form, this line you wouldn't really be able to see. So I'm going to skip this dot. I'm not going to worry about lining that one up since it crosses in front of the shape. Okay, my circle is actually going to be pretty easy. Just got these 2 dots. And then I'm going to keep going. Yeah, I'm going to have the same issue with my square as I did my diamond. About lines going across the front. This line would go across the front of my shape, and so would this one. So I'm gonna skip those. And I'm still gonna end up with a nice form. Now the star is going to be a little tricky as well, but if we follow the same rule, about connecting our lines together, or connecting our dots together, what you're going to find with the star is that you'll have a lot of points that won't need to connect to your vanishing point. Mainly, it's going to be the dots that are closest to my vanishing point that need to align. Okay, this one I can see is actually going to need to be connected. But if it goes in front of my shape, I don't need to worry about it. It looks like I only have one more point on my star that needs to be connected. Okay, so what I'm going for are these solid looking forms. And so you can see that I've erased these lines that I drew that helped me find the perspective. But before I do that, what I want to do is what I call chopping off. So I'm going to be chopping off some of this. So what I'm going to do is look for my line, and then I'm going to repeat that same line going the same direction. I can use my ruler. I'm going to line that up, slide it over, and I'm going to chop this off. So once I chop, I'll go ahead and erase. And now you can see I have my 3D form. It looks like it's floating in space. I'll do my square next. I'm going to slide that down, chop it off, and erase. Okay. This one's going to be a little bit trickier because I have two lines that I need to chop off. So I'm going to go for my first one. When I chop this one off, I want to make sure that my first one and my second one are connected. And I'm going to chop that off and erase. Now my circle is going to be a little different. It's not a straight line. So when I chop this one off, I'm going to try to follow that same curve when I chop it off. Now I can erase my vanishing point as well. Now my star is going to be a little trickier. There's a lot of lines here. I'm going to freehand this one because the lines are kind of small. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to make sure that these are connected. And I'm going to chop that off. I'm going to chop this one. And then I'm going to chop this one. Then I can erase those connecting lines that went to my vanishing point. And you'll see I have some forms that look 3D. Now, to really complete this, you can do some shading with your pencil. Now, if you have a colored pencil, you could try that as well. So what I'm going to do is create two tones, well, three possibly. One that's very dark, one that's medium, and a very light tone for the front of my form. The darkest tone is going to go right here in my chopped off part of my shape. I'm pressing hard with my pencil. I'm going slow. And I might go back the other direction. This is called cross hatching. to make that even darker. That is my darkest tone or shade. I'm going to go for a medium tone or shade next to finish that little chopped off area of my form. This is going to make it look like your form or your object is receding into the distance towards that vanishing point we started with. And I'm going to add just a very light shade or tone to the front of my form. This will kind of help complete that illusion of my form being three-dimensional. So I have a very light, a dark, and a medium shade. Here is my completed drawing, 3D forms in perspective, and I can go back in and shade a little more, going different directions to try and make this drawing as nice as I can. This is a great practice for shading as well as learning how to draw in perspective. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.